Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Middletown School Committee meeting to order on Thursday, December 1st, 2022. All members are present. I'd like to welcome our new members, Wendy Heaney and Greg Hewitt. Welcome to the school committee. So we are going to go into executive first. So I need a motion to go into executive session.
I make a motion that we go into executive session
Second.
Read the whole thing.
to consider the vote on legal advice regarding a personnel matter.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion to seal the minutes.
Motion to seal minutes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. And no vote was taken in executive session.
Second.
Wendy did. I'm going to now turn the meeting over to the superintendent to proceed with reorganization.
Okay, before we reorganize, we stand for the pledge, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So we've been through this process when we saw our town council sworn in and our new school committee members. So typically what happens is we, with reorganization, until the chair is elected, either the clerk or the superintendent does the reorganization. So I want to welcome, yes.
Before we go into that part, I'd make a suggestion. We have a lot of members here from the community, and I think some of them would like to make a comment on reorganization before we go into that, give them an opportunity.
Okay, so when we open up,
Thank you.
because we do have public forum on the agenda, so that's probably the spot for comment. So I do want to welcome our newly elected members. Wendy Heaney, welcome. Greg Hewitt, and Teresa was reelected, Teresa Spangler. So welcome to the team. I think you'll learn as you go along. We have a great team, our teachers, custodians, teacher assistants, clerks, and our building administration and central office. So we work together for the good of our students, and we're glad you're part of the team. So we will go into a public forum at this point. Individuals may address the school committee on only one relevant educational topic, not included on the agenda, nor related to personnel or job performance, nor revealing personally identifiable information regarding students. Individuals may speak for no longer than 5 minutes. And after, if you want to speak, you can submit the public participation form to me prior to the start of the meeting. In this case, I will accept it after. Non-agenda items discussed under the public forum will not be voted upon at this meeting. So we have members who would like to speak. Please come forward. Mr. Antone, are you filling out a form? Mr. Antone, are you filling out a form to speak? Okay. So again, this is your chance for public forum to speak. Okay, hearing none, we will move on, proceed to the school committee reorganization. Again, this meeting is called to order by the superintendent of schools for the purpose of nominations for our chair. Nominations are now in order for school committee chairperson.
I'd like to speak. So I would like to make a nomination, and my thought process is that with the recent situation that we've had with the community and the council, I would like to recommend that we look for new leadership on the committee. And with that being said, I would like to nominate Greg Hewitt for chair at this time.
Okay, there's a nomination on the floor for Greg Hewitt Is there a second to that nomination?
Second.
Are there other nominations? Wendy?
Okay. I'd like to make a nomination for Teresa Spangler for the chair position.
I'll second it.
Are there other nominations? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to close nominations.
Motion to close.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So nominations are closed. Let's vote on the candidate. As many as are in favor of Mr. Hewitt as chairperson for the school committee, please signify by saying A. Yeah, yes.
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 Could you do a hand vote? 2. Against, no, or no?
No.
3. Thank you. So that candidate does not have a majority, so that fails. The second candidate, as many are in favor of Teresa Spangler as chairperson for the school committee, please signify by saying yes.
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 We have 3 votes for Teresa Spangler. Those opposed? 2. The motion carries. Teresa Spangler is the chair of the school committee. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
I turn this over now to the chair.
Okay, we will now proceed to the election of a vice chairperson. The nominations for vice chair are now in order. I would like to nominate Tammy Holden as vice chair. Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Oh, I'm sorry. Are there any other nominations for vice chair?
Yes, I'd like to nominate Greg Hewitt for vice chair.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, we have 2 nominations. All right. Okay, any other nominations? There are no other nominations. I move that can I have a motion and close the nominations?
Motion to close the nominations.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motions and nominations are closed.
Take the first one.
Okay. So more than one candidate has been nominated. Which one am I reading? As many as are in favor of Tammy Holden as the vice chair, please signify by saying yes.
Yes.
Yes. Those opposed?
No.
3-2. The motion carries.
No need for the second one.
No need for the second one. Congratulations, Tammy, as vice chair.
Thank you.
Okay, appointment of the clerk. Nominations are now in order for the clerk. So I was the clerk last time, is how it is. So it's somebody
what
has to,
happened?
yes, but so that used to be, just to explain, the clerk position used to be that the superintendent was the clerk. Several years ago, it was changed to add a second person as part of that process. So nominations are in order for the person to be the clerk.
Can you explain the position of the clerk, please?
Yes. Okay. The meeting for the, right here, the school committee shall appoint or designate the clerk of the school committee at the biannual organizational meeting. The clerk of the school committee shall notify members of each meeting, including in the notice of such meetings, the matters to be placed before the committee at said meetings. The clerk shall keep a full and accurate record of each meeting and shall furnish a copy of the record of each meeting to the superintendent of schools. The clerk shall receive all communications, present them to the school committee and respond to them. With the assistance of the superintendent of schools, the clerk shall keep an exact record of all school expenditures, prepare all payrolls and audit all bills and pay such bills as necessary. With like assistance, the clerk shall prepare all reports required by federal laws, state laws, the Board of Regents, and the Commissioner of Education. In the absence of the chair, the clerk may sign any orders, contracts, or official papers which require the signature of the chairperson of the school committee. So as the clerk in the past, what that means is that I sign documents, I've been things really like it's being involved with the budget warrants, things of that, and haven't ever had to sign a warrant, so.
So at this point, you've had the assistance though of Mary with much of this, or
That's right.
so, because when you read that, that's a lot of work
Right.
for an individual to be doing.
Oh,
So,
no,
but
I,
You have the superintendent and her
assistant,
administrative assistant
correct,
performing much of those duties.
correct,
And then other than that, though, you were required to sign
correct.
things.
Review things and then sign them.
Has it always been the chair or has it ever been anybody else?
It's always been the chair.
So it has always been the chair. As Teresa said, in the past, it has been the superintendent.
That's
no, he-
change has only been 2 or 3 years.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I can't.
Mhm.
Recent, 2, 3. Maybe, I rather.
So I need nominations. Are there any other nominations? I nominate
Is there a
myself.
second? Did you have a
Did you,
second?
you said you nominated Greg?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I haven't
All right,
nominated anyone.
I nominate myself. I think so.
Teresa, can I ask you, what do you recommend having done the role for clerk for the last couple of years?
Well, it's been very smooth because I have the information anyway. I'm looking at the agenda in advance. I have that information on a regular basis as the chair. So it comes to me first and then it goes out to the rest of the school committee. And so it just has flowed that way and it's worked. So I don't know if so we need a nomination.
And I'll nominate you for that role.
I'll second it, if you want it.
Yes, so that'd be fine. Are there any other nominations? Okay, seeing none. Then I nominate Teresa Spangler as the clerk. I need a second. All in favor? Show by hands. Those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Was that unanimous? I didn't see all.
No.
Oh, those in favor, raise your hand.
Aye.
Okay, unanimous. vote. Thank you. Thank you for your support. Okay, now we're going to go on to the subcommittee appointments. And that I have to look up in here. So as you see the list that was put out in the school committee packet, you can see all of the people that have been on these committees and all the committees that are important to participate as a school committee group. We can start from the beginning and go through. Wendy and Greg, please feel free
Just
to,
tell me where that one is.
oh, it's under reorganization.
Reorganization.
Right there.
Okay, thanks.
Did you find it, everybody? Under reorganization? Okay. Bill, you have it?
Yep.
So we can just go through them in the list as they're in the list that they're in right now on the budget subcommittee is myself. Lee was on there, Tammy Holden. Tammy, I don't know if you want to move into as a permanent part of it or you want to stay as an alternate. Greg or Wendy or Bill, you'd like to be on there? Okay. You know what I don't have is, I don't have it in black and white. Okay, thank you. I don't know how to write on the tablet yet.
Yeah.
Okay, Greg and Tammy, do you want to stay an alternate or Wendy
Unless
is it?
somebody else wants it.
Um,
Yep, great.
You want to be the alternate, Wendy? Okay. All right, the Career Tech Center Committee was Lee and Doug, so we need 2 new members to be on that. Now, if we don't make a final decision on some of these, you can think about them. We could always finish this next meeting.
Absolutely.
So if you want to think more about that, if you want to get more information, Greg or Wendy, if you're interested in that, we certainly can provide that and make sure that gives you, so that you can make an informed decision of what you want to get into. The Policy Committee, this is an ongoing committee that reviews and suggests all policies. Doug was on that. Tammy, do you want to stay on that? Greg or
No, not
Wendy?
necessarily.
Okay, Greg,
And I'll do the career tech if,
okay. That's one
I'm
person,
Fine with policy as well.
okay,
I can't hear, I'm sorry.
okay. Tammy wants to be on the Career Tech Center Committee. We will need a second person, but we can think about that. And the Policy Committee is going to be Greg and Wendy. Okay, the Sick Bank Committee, I'm going to stay on that. Bill, do you want to stay on that?
I'll stay on it.
Okay. That's the certified. Then we need Sick Bank Committee for Council 94. Bill, do you want to stay on that?
Yes, I'll stay on it.
Okay.
We've only, I think in 10 years, we've only had one
Yeah, it's,
problem.
so let me explain what the sick bank is. We will need a second person on the Council 94 one. The sick bank is if somebody has exhausted their sick time, then it goes to a sick bank. That email and documentation of the doctor's request or suggestions or whatever the situation is, goes before that committee. And then it's voted upon whether that person is going to receive the requested sick days from the sick bank.
Sick bank is part of the collective bargaining unit for both the teachers and Council 94.
Everybody has to put in a certain number of days for a union member. So if one of you wanted to think about that,
What's the difference between that one and the certified one?
certified is the teachers,
The other one is
is
custodian.
custodian. The grievance subcommittee, we do need 3. Oh,
Put me on there.
okay. Greg? I'm gonna stay on there. Bill, do you want to stay on there?
Yes, I'll stay on. it.
Okay. The Facilities Advisory Committee is Bill and Tammy. Do you want to stay on there? Or is that the one you were telling me?
No, I'll stay on that.
Okay.
I'm fine unless somebody wants it.
All right, the Safety Advisory Committee. Bill, do you want to stay on that or?
Yes, that's not been a very busy committee.
Okay.
I'm happy to go on that one.
I'm sorry, which one?
Safety advisory.
Oh, Tammy, you gonna come off of it?
Sure.
Okay. Wendy, you'll be an alternate. Okay.
Keep taking care.
The clerk, yeah. So the next one is the East Bay Educational Collaborative. Rosemarie as the superintendent sits on that. The Newport County Regional Special Education Program, again, Rosemarie sits on that, the superintendent. The Audit Committee, I'm going to stay on there. We do need one more person and we need an alternate. So let me,
On there.
right? So let me explain a little bit about that publicly. I know that you can read this, but I'm just this is the audit with the town, and so we meet with the town at town hall for the draft, and then any revisions that have to happen, and then we go back and meet with them. So this is an overall audit of the entire town of Middletown, and then we get called in for the school side. So it's a very thorough audit. And we meet with the town council members, with the finance department, and the auditors come in here and they meet with our finance department, the town's finance department. It goes through the audit with a fine tooth comb. So we need an alternate on that.
I can do that.
Wendy, okay? So Mary, did you get that?
I did, yep.
Myself, Greg, and Wendy as alternate. The Health and Wellness Advisory Committee, Tammy, do you want to stay on that?
Yeah, I don't think we. have
Okay.
much action, so.
Okay. Open Space Committee, Bill, do you want to stay on that?
I'll stay on it.
Okay,
If Greg or Wendy, but it's fine. I'm very happy to stay on.
okay. The stream, the goal of this committee is to combine the stream curriculum and activities and programs for all students. We will develop an educational business roundtable and a funding stream for all programs. This will be the goal for it's the goal every year, but so Lee and Doug are both off of that. I don't know if either of you are interested in that or anybody else is interested in that.
And that is like your STEM. Yeah, what is that? A little more. Stream is like.
It
STEM,
hasn't been an
science.
active committee,
It's pretty quiet right now.
but it is a committee to help with our Pathways program at the high school to engage business members as partners.
I'll take that if, unless Greg or Wendy. want.
Well, I look at that one and I look at the next one that says Career Pathways Committee, and
The same.
shouldn't those be
aren't they?
combined?
It could be combined.
I think that would make a lot of sense to be combined, since it's focused on the the stream anyway.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
so Bill, you're gonna stay on that. I'm an alternate on that. Wendy or Greg, would you like to be added to that, or Tammy?
I'll do the pathways.
Okay. So Tammy and Bill, so we're gonna eliminate the stream or combine, I'm sorry, not eliminate. We're gonna combine the stream and the career pathways together as one committee. And that will consist of Tammy, Bill, and myself as the alternate. And then the last is the Cozy Governing Council. This is our Child Opportunity Zone, that program that is a big integral part of for our student success. Tammy, you're on that. Do you want to stay on that?
Somebody else wants to do it, that's fine. I just attended their big meetings and wasn't
Okay,
stay on it.
sure. So
Okay.
then the only one that is questionable right now is, well, the only one we have one person on is the Career Tech Center Committee. So-
And you know, we need to revisit that because that hasn't been an active committee. So I will check with the superintendent in Newport to see if we still need a school committee member on that committee.
Okay. Thank you for letting me borrow that. All right, thank you, everybody. Next is the meeting dates for January, for 2023. So our meetings are scheduled for the third Thursday of each month. However, there are conflicts or school vacations make a difference of adjusting those dates based on school calendar. So just want to show everybody that and see if everybody's okay with that.
I'm sorry to ask, why the 5:30 on?
I was gonna ask that too. Is that a typo?
No, it's on the February 16th. Says 5:30.
Oh, that's a typo.
Okay,
Oh,
all right. Yeah, I meant to ask that question.
Okay.
Okay, so that's
Okay.
yes.
I'd like to make a recommendation that we move the time to 5 o'clock so more parents and people can attend. 3:30 is a difficult time for many of the parents.
Okay, well, it's certainly something we could definitely talk about further. You know, we also have to think about, a lot of students have homework, so when we do presentations, we like to make sure we get the students out of here at a normal time, because we do a lot of, every month we have awards and recognitions. So, but yeah, we could definitely can talk about that. All right, does anybody have any preference on times? I think 5 o'clock is a little late. I think that's harder.
Well,
Um,
ask Greg, 4:30 or 4 o'clock. We have a lot of students come to our meetings and to begin with.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we moved it to 3:30. We used to do 5:30. We've done a little bit of everything.
Yeah,
So
Maybe we can discuss that as to what's the rationale for why we have it at 3:30 and then discuss what.
Yeah.
Opportunity to make adjustments, whether it's 4:30, you know, maybe not making it too late. Do we need to decide that today?
no,
no,
we
no.
can
I think
definitely
that's
talk
something
about
we
that at the
should
next meeting.
revisit,
So
to
we'll
discuss.
plan on the 3:30 meeting for January 19th, because that will be our next meeting. And then we can talk about it further from there. And Mary, if you don't mind, just
I'll resend.
thank you so much with that 3:30 versus 5:30. Thank you. Okay, moving on to information. Mrs. Prager.
Thank you. In your packet, there are two documents that I have shared with you. The past few years, I have done what's called superintendent chats, and I go out to the schools. We work with the building principal, and teachers have an opportunity to come. It's very informal. There's no agenda. And what I like to do is get feedback from our staff. I learn a great deal from our staff. Oftentimes I'll clarify situations or issues that are out there. I've actually completed all four chats. I haven't done a summary write-up, but in your packet is a summary of things that I heard during my two chats at Gaudet Learning Academy, Gaudet Middle School, and Middletown High School. You'll see the summary of the next two chats when they're completed. So the summary that I provide to the building principal, and then I provide it to the entire staff of that school. And you know, again, we sit there, we have a discussion. I listen to what the what our teachers and staff have said. We've made many changes as a result of these chats because our teachers have great recommendations for us. So it's been very beneficial, I hope, for our staff as well as myself in central office. If this year, what we're adding, if teachers, staff did not have an opportunity, we're going to add an anonymous Google form where those people that were not able to make the chat can add their comments.
I just want to comment on that. I just want to say congratulations to Becky and Billy and Jeff, because both of the chats say the leadership is great. So we definitely commend you and thank you for your hard work and dedication. And I know your assistant principal is not here right now, but please pass that on. So thank you for being great leaders and role models for our staff and our students. Thank you.
Any comments or?
I suggestion, I'm gonna ask, what, can you explain what you mean by the restructuring of the parent teachers conference?
So I heard this, I actually heard it yesterday and earlier this week. Our parent teacher conferences are in the afternoon and the evening. It's difficult for our teachers to put a full day into work and then have to spend time and give the parents you know, the information. It's a long day. So the teachers that have brought this up have asked me to take a look. You know, this would be done in conjunction with our union leadership. Could we look at alternate ways of doing parent conferences? I go back to the older days where we had the olden days where we would have students in for a half day, and then our teachers would have afternoon conferences and then a day off the next day. So we're going to put this on our agenda when we have our monthly meetings with our union leadership.
Okay, last question. You've got one up there on science and SS. What was the SS?
Social
Social
studies.
studies.
Just checking.
Okay. Question, this is under correspondence, should not be interaction item.
No, this
Okay.
is the correspondence about
You
negotiations.
need to vote on that.
Yeah,
And-
no. No, later date. You could just
Okay.
receive the communication.
Okay, just checking. Okay, next is correspondence. I need a motion to receive a letter from Leslie Florio, Assistant Executive Director, UniServe NEARI, requesting to commence bargaining on a successor agreement for Middletown Teachers Association, NEARI and NEA.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. The second correspondence is a letter from Leslie Florio, Assistant Executive Director, UniServe NEARI, requesting to commence bargaining on a successor agreement for Middletown support staff.
Motion to receive.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, next is the consent agenda.
I'd like to make a motion to remove the school committee meeting minutes.
Okay. I ask why?
Um,
Why don't you vote on it first?
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the rest of the consent agenda minus the school committee minutes from meeting date November 10th, 2022. I need to
Motion to
approve the consent agenda
approve the
without,
consent agenda without the minutes.
yes.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any particular reason why, if you don't mind me asking, of why to remove the minutes?
Yes, I want them to be discussed and read so the public can hear them.
We can't do that though until we approve them. They can't become public until it's approved, so we can't post it and we can't. So until the school committee approves them, the difficulty about the two of you approving them is that you weren't here because it was the November 10th meeting. So once it's approved, then it's public information. But we can't do that. We can't put it out in the public until it's voted upon.
So you're asking me to approve something that,
Well, unfortunately, no, you don't have to. You don't have to approve it.
Abstain.
They can abstain because they weren't part of that.
Because you abstained because you weren't at the minutes, but typically what happens is you get a copy of the minutes in advance in your packet, you read them through. And the motion really is your opportunity to say if something different happens, ask that it be amended. And then as soon as you vote or you make an amendment, then you vote on it, then it does become a public record and it's available to the public immediately if they want it.
Right. So I need to,
I can amend my motion to include the minutes in the
or do we just make them?
consent agenda.
Or just make another motion?
The motion out because you already approved the balance of the agenda.
Okay, okay. So I need a motion to approve the school committee meeting minutes from November 10th, 2022.
Motion to approve.
A second,
Second?
any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Abstain.
And when Ms. Heaney and Mr. Hewitt have decided to
Abstain.
abstain due to them not being here at that meeting at that time, which I certainly understand. Okay, next we move on to action items. I need a motion on employment termination.
Motion on employment termination.
Say I move to
I move
that the school
to,
committee.
I move that the school committee approve the termination of employee.
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I need a motion on policy 7050, anti-discrimination, anti-harassment and grievance protocol, first reading.
I move that the school committee approve the anti-discrimination, anti-harassment and grievance protocol, first reading.
So we're just approving the first reading.
Correct. And then we can make any kind of revisions that all of the policies have to go through two readings.
Right.
So the first reading is essentially a draft. We've received it. We now can make adjustments, but we're at least approving it as it is for the moment. We then can tweak it, do whatever we want with it, and then submit that. And then that will come back to us for a final approval at the next meeting or something of that
And
nature.
if we don't think the first reading is ready for a first reading, we just send it back.
If not necessarily, I mean, if for us to go on and move forward, we do have to approve it as it is for now, and then we can fix it. If it comes to a second reading, and we're still not comfortable with it, and we're not satisfied with it, we then can postpone that vote on that particular item and move it to the next meeting to make sure it's tweaked the way we want it to be.
Okay.
But to get the first reading passed and then work on the document, we need to to be able to move that forward.
Okay.
Okay. That's a good question. I apologize. I know it's a learning curve with all of this
Haven't
stuff.
had our orientation yet.
Right, I know that it's tough to do this first
Backwards.
before, I know. Okay, so I have a motion and I need a second.
I'll
Second.
second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, I need a motion on the assistant administrator and lead technician job description, first reading.
I move that the school committee approve the assistant network administrator and lead technician job description, first reading.
I need a second.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? Again, we'll do the same thing.
Yeah, I have provided a document to everybody and to David and Denise for my comments related to that document. So everybody knows, I would like that. Incorporated into the minutes.
Okay, you mean into the policy?
Into the minutes so that there's a lot of questions that I've raised regarding to that position description that I think need to be added that are addressed.
Okay.
So that document will serve as a record that those were included or questioned and need to be addressed in that new document.
Okay, absolutely.
So thank you for this information, and what we will do is I'll work with our IT director to answer these questions and be provided for the second reading. Again, this is a position We already have a person in place in this position. This is an update. Periodically, we look at all job descriptions and see if they're still relevant to the work that we're doing. Do they align with what the work that we're doing? And in this case, this was an updated policy, but it was a significant change. That's why it takes one reading. So thanks for this input, and we will get this information back to you.
So some of the things in there just were general where it said they weren't required. They were certifications
Mhm,
that are common in the IT world that should be required.
mhm.
And they weren't in the document, they weren't required.
Right.
Where they called for an associate's degree, where in some of those technical things,
Mhm.
their associate's degree doesn't. matter.
We'll,
It's
we'll,
more
resp- we'll,
certifications.
we'll respond to all of those. I mean, just offhand, when you mention the certification, oftentimes we don't put those in the job description because we could have people with multiple certifications. And in the job, should we list all those certifications? There could be more that come out at a later date.
Right,
So,
you don't want to
yeah.
limit the job description.
Exactly. But thank you for this, and we can work on this. Thank
Yeah,
you.
absolutely. We can address your concerns and provide a written response. Would that be acceptable?
Great.
Okay, great. Happy to do so.
All right, thank you.
I have one question. Are you ready? This is simple. I'm used to getting a hold of these documents by their policy number. You don't have a policy number in
This
this.
is a job description, that's why. This is not a policy
Okay,
number.
fine, sorry.
That's all right. Yep, it's a
That's
job
right, it's not a
description.
policy, it's a job. I thought it was a.
What?
Did
We did not vote on this yet. Okay, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, motion carries. Motion on the snowplow bid.
I move that the school committee award the snowplow bid to All Island Landscaping.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? You want to?
Yeah, I will. As Poe, we only had one bid for this particular job. All Island Landscape, they plow our large buildings, the high school and Gaudet. We plow our smaller buildings, Oliphant, Forest Avenue and Aquidneck. We do that internally. We don't have the manpower to do all of that, the smaller buildings and the larger buildings, nor do we have the equipment to do that. So typically we have gone out for a snowplow bid for the larger schools. Poe, do you want to add anything to that?
It was a public bid and there was only one bidder. We've used this company for the past 5 years. We're very comfortable with their work. They're very responsive to us, so they had my blessing.
And they do a good job. They really do. The buildings, the key is that the properties are ready for a school to open. And
Yeah,
that's,
they understand the need.
yeah, that's really important. Okay, we have a,
Excuse me, Teresa, one question for
Yep.
Dave. Dave, I've lost your,
oh,
what are they? I must touch something.
The X, maybe.
I have
we'll
no
get,
idea.
we'll get you back on track, Bill.
Yeah, I'm back up here. I got a lot of colored designs. But I'm colorblind, so it doesn't matter.
All right, so we have a motion and a second for All Island for the snowplow bid. All in favor? Aye. Okay, next we have a motion on the school committee meeting dates.
Move that the school committee approve the 2023 school committee meeting dates.
Second.
And we will discuss the times, but the dates are what they are at this point, unless some, there are times like this particular month, we change the date. Those things do happen.
Would you
Um,
include that in the minutes that we'll review the times?
Yes, so Mary's taking notes on that, yeah. There are times during the year that the meeting dates have been changed due to a potential conference that the superintendent has. Sometimes it's been impact aid that she has to be down in DC, and those conferences are not scheduled yet at this point in time, so those dates could conflict with our meetings, so we do adjust it. And then, of course, as you know, based on school vacations and in the summertime, we're a little more flexible too. So, okay, we have a motion and a second, and we'll discuss the times at a later date. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion on resignations.
I make a motion that the school
Can you read
committee
the whole thing?
approve the following resignations. Sheila Plaster, 4-hour assistant teacher, Gaude School, retirement.
I'll second.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Next is superintendent's reports.
Okay, in your packet or online there, you see a report of recent personnel. We hired Dana Ramey, a 0.8 a Spanish teacher, to fill a long-term position effective November 16th, 2022 to the end of April 2023. We hire effective November 21, 2022, William Mayer, night custodian. Hire effective November 28, 2022, Kristen Fulmer, our administrative assistant to the superintendent and school committee. April Stern, boys and girls assistant swim coats. Johnny Shell, ice hockey, and that's a co-op coach. Jason Rustin for wrestling. Hire effective November 29, 2022, Beyond the Bell, Ann Gizzy. Hire effective December 22nd, 2022, a long-term sub at Gaudet School, Kelly Butella. Hire effective, and our dates to be determined because we have some openings in the custodial field. Fernando Echeverra as maintenance technician / painter, and William Finn, lead night custodian. It's a lateral move effective December 1st. Lauren Babbitt from interim accounts payable to accounts payable. An extension, T. Gomes for interim business manager.
All right, thank you. Next is curriculum. Michelle.
Good evening, everybody. I have projected up the status report for this month. And under teaching and learning, just want to review a few things that have been going on. I know at the last meeting, I began to talk about the curriculum search for mathematics. And just as an update, they have met multiple times. They have split up into 2 curriculum groups. And they are setting the criteria for what they're going to be selecting and reviewing ed reports. They're also developing surveys that will go out to parents and students and teachers to get their engagement in selection of the high quality curriculum, and sample materials are being ordered. As I mentioned, they will present their choices to you in April, and we'll keep you posted on the progress. I just wanted to make sure up on the screen, I have the reminder of the legislation, the curriculum legislation, and where sort of Rhode Island has placed those deadlines for adopting new curriculum that is high quality approved curriculum. And as you know, we have adopted our ELA curriculum, K through 12, and now we're on the search for a math curriculum. So in your status report, you do have a copy of the RIDE curriculum timeline, but you also have a copy, and I'm putting it up here on the screen, Middletown's timeline, which shows you sort of that we're right on schedule with looking at math curriculum and implementing K through 12 ELA curriculum. And it's going to be a busy few years because science is right behind that. So I'll continue to update you at every meeting as to where we are at, but you can expect some presentations in April that would show you what the committees feel are the best choices for Middletown moving forward in mathematics. And keeping that in mind and linking it to the next item, last meeting I had the preview for the state assessment scores, and in January I'll have an in-depth presentation for you on those scores. But if you click on the link in your status report, it'll take you to that preview, which highlights just a quick overview of our scores altogether. And we talked a lot at the last meeting, but really important is that math area. So taking a close look at our tier 1 curriculum for math is essential. we saw ourselves go up in ELA and math with the RICAS, but we certainly aren't satisfied with where we are. So we did have that rise from that green to that orange from 21 to 22. But really, when you look at it overall in mathematics, we only have 30% of our students meeting the proficiency levels in math. So this is not okay, and this is not satisfying us. Obviously, we need to work a lot with these students and our instruction to make sure that we are providing the best tier 1 curriculum as well as interventions for mathematics. So you're going to hear a lot about that in the next few months. And then also the SAT score preview is in here as well, just giving you an idea of what the scores were like. Again, we're seeing that math area certainly go along exactly with the RICAS, showing us that math area is important, as well as the ELA. We know both areas need some attention, and what we're happy about is that we're starting back to from the COVID dip, we're climbing again. So that's positive. So that's linked right in your report. We are just about fully approved for our virtual learning plan for inclement weather. I received some feedback from RIDE. They needed some final tweaks, but they were satisfied with our plan. So I've linked it for you. We went through it at the last meeting, but I know a few of you are new, so I want to make sure that you have a copy of that. And that would be used for inclement weather when students, it would be safer for them to stay home, and we would implement a virtual learning day. And our teachers would be ready to go with at least 3 hours of live instruction, if not more. And we would call that day for maybe a snow day or an ice day. We could also call a no school day if we felt power outages were going to be a problem. As if they were, we wouldn't intend to be online. So, but we would have an option of using up to 5 of those days once approved by RIDE, and we're this close to getting approved. So I'm submitting the final recommendations tomorrow, and I think that we should have approval by next week, which is good because who knows when the weather might change.
And I'm glad you approved the snowplow. We were worried about that.
And the last item in your status update is the half-day plan for mandatory professional development. You approved this at last meeting. I just wanted to make sure you all are aware that the mandatory PD that will come on that day is on that suicide prevention, and that will be for all staff, not just certified teachers, but custodians, clerks. We're making sure all Middletown Public School staff are part of that training. And as a result, our students will be released at half day in January, and then another day in March. We'll also be doing Title IX training on the March date. So that presentation and schedule is linked for you as well. So that concludes my report on teaching and learning, unless anybody has any questions.
The last community outreach meeting, I don't know if you were present. Were you present? I'm
No,
not
it was
sure.
not.
But there's a person now been hired,
Yes.
but there was talk about seeking math help from community members or trying to organize something to help with that math, so I just, we'll probably pursue it with the next.
Sure, I'll
meeting,
be at the next meeting.
if it's something feasible.
Sure. I'll be at the next meeting. Happy to talk about that with them. I know they switched the date last minute,
Yeah, because
so
they're thinking that there might be some volunteers who might want to offer up a day here, offer up a day there, or if there's a way to go about doing that. They talked about senior center, they talked about retired teachers, just, different folks who might be interested in a school, having them for a day, a couple hours,
I think
something like that.
I think volunteer support is certainly something we'd welcome. I think our district needs to look closely as a whole at what we're doing for math intervention, though. I think
Right,
I think
exactly.
as a whole, we have a lot of work to do on tier 2 math intervention. So, but yes, I mean,
The start or something.
yes, absolutely. And then some of that intervention is coming in the after school program. So I'll speak to that a little bit more in January, but our Beyond the Bell program is up and running, and most of the programs joined in this week. So I'll have the beginning of the data for you on how many students are staying after school, but we do have Beyond the Bell after school programming in every building on Tuesdays and Thursdays with transportation. So that is up and running. So in the next meeting, I'll give you stats just about how many programs we're offering and how many students are attending and how many teachers we've been hired. So stay
Michelle,
tuned for that. Yes.
I've heard some good comments about Beyond the Bell. And then I asked further questions. Nobody knew.
Okay.
The question, does Beyond the Bell include any math?
So that's a very good question. The priority for Beyond the Bell has been that literacy piece, but it also does include math. And the Beyond the Bell summer was literacy and math. Absolutely. It was both. The students were with us from 8 to 11, and they had a literacy block and a math block.
Okay, so you're kind of building the math a little bit stronger into it.
Yeah, and you know that last year's concentration was ELA. We picked our tier 1 curriculum, we put tier 2s into place. So there was a lot of concentration on the ELA. We're definitely focusing on the math. We're looking closely at curriculum, but we have a lot of gaps in what we're offering students for intervention in math. And we know that and have identified that. After school, most of the kids that have a math plan also have a literacy plan. So they need help in both places.
Another magic question. Is that Beyond the Bell a grant?
Beyond the Bell is a town grant. So the town has given us the money for the Beyond the Bell program. So the Beyond the Bell has been fully funded by the town from last November through May, and then all of last summer, fully funded by the town. They paid for the transportation, all of the teachers. They even helped us with the camp that allowed students to stay a full day, because we know a lot of kids after 11 don't have nowhere to go. So they did intervention all morning, they did an enrichment camp in the afternoon, and the town supported us with all of those. So they've been very supportive. We've been reporting back to the Middletown Outreach Committee regarding those statistics and how many kids we served. And it's been successful. It has come with some concerns too. And I think I mentioned last time that one of them was staffing. Very difficult to get teachers that are able to stay after school, able and willing to stay after school. But I will say we had a lot of coordinators out there that did a great job of recruiting. And when you see the numbers, I think you'll be happy with how many were able to get out to stay after.
Is it fully staffed now, or are you still looking for people?
I wouldn't say it's fully staffed.
is it?
No, I still think we have more students that we'd like to invite than we have slots for. So
Okay, so you're limited by,
we are.
Try to keep the size small.
yeah.
We try not to overload the class, but we've also thought of some creative ways. We added teacher assistants this year, so that a teacher could take more kids, but have a TA with them, and they could take smaller groups. So that's allowed us to increase the numbers a little bit. We also have had substitutes join us, student teachers have joined us. So that's been great. I think today you appointed Ann Gizzy, who retired many years ago from Middletown, but she's back doing her thing in our Beyond the Bell program, which is awesome. So we're really trying to think out of the box. And then our partnership with the Boys and Girls Club is also amazing, because we have a good handful of students who are picked up every day and have service with them, dinner with them, transported home with them. And we work with them through a grant as well that we've written for our L families and our homeless families. So we have a lot going on for students after school, but there's always room for more. I mean, there really is. And to really push up that math instruction, it needs to happen during the school day and after school. We could do more.
That's for the kids who are on those plans, but can somebody want to attend who's not necessarily on a plan? Is
So
it-
we've prioritized the
Yeah.
kids on the plans. The other kids are, like, there are enrichment programs that are open to everybody. We have intramurals going on right now. We have an SEL class. We have an art class. Those are open to everyone. But the kids who have the personal literacy plans and math plans are who we prioritize for invites
Mhm,
for the intervention.
Right.
I'm hoping that this looks good, that they're going to continue funding this.
So I would love that to continue. I think what they ask us to do is to really report back to them on how things are going. We gave them a pretty robust report at the end of May, and then again at the end of the summer. We were able to not only show them data as far as attendance and program numbers, but we were actually able to show some data that showed academic growth. I think I shared it with you at one of the meetings, but that's very important for them to see. So that they can continue to support. But there's a lot of support on the town council for this Beyond the Bell program. And they want to continue to do more. So it's a positive. We definitely are doing great work, and we have teachers working really hard after the hours beyond the bell. So yes, I'm really excited about it launching now and pushing hard through May. And then we'll be planning for summer programming probably in February. We start planning the summer. So, and we work with Middletown Cozy on that. So they help build in the enrichment piece. We have themes every week, and that works out nicely.
Just one quick question. I know we've talked about math, and I just want to confirm that we still do not have any math special, or do we have only one math specialist in the district right now?
We have no math
No math
specialists.
specialist. Okay, so that is a huge problem.
We have no math interventionists.
That's what I meant. I'm sorry. That's the word I was looking for.
No, none.
Okay, that's
K
okay.
through 12, none.
That's it.
Our
Challenge.
interventions are being provided by the regular classroom teachers. But math is definitely an area we need to think about. And I think when we get into budget season and our principals come up, you're going to hear a lot about, as far as staffing goes, interventions. So you're going to hear a lot about reading and math interventions and how important that is, that time for students to have to build their skills.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome.
Next. Finance.
Next, finance. I again just want to thank T for being interim business manager in the business office, pulling things together. It's an uphill climb. We are certainly understaffed in our business office, and we need to look at filling some positions. We continue to work very closely with our town administrator and our director of finance. We have formal meetings occur weekly, and there's probably daily calls, more than one or two or three in a day, conversations about our finances. The school department has been open to support from our town council. We welcome that support. We've asked for that support, and when we've asked for the support, they have given us the support. In fact, the town has assisted the school department in preparing what's called the trial balance for the audit. In addition, we're asking for support to reconcile our uniform chart of accounts for the audit as well. So the town will be providing for that. Again,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
again, we are understaffed in our business office, and we need to fill those positions. We'll have a big budget meeting with you in January. We're working on budget adjustments. The school committee needs to make budget adjustments, and then we go to the town council to let them know about the budget adjustments. At that time, we will have a better picture of where we are on all line items. In terms of our revenues look reasonable at this time. We have not received any of our impact aid dollars to date, but my communication with the U.S. Department of Education and impact aid, we are expecting a payment voucher, usually the end of December or early January. We are finalizing our grants, our 2022 grants, and T and the business office are working on that. In terms of our expenditures, we have looked at our out-of-district placement and have reconciled those lines. So before, when we looked at it, we were overexpended, but once T went in and took students out, added students in, we are not overspent on that line. T is also doing that with transportation, and we're doing that with our salary and benefit lines. So those are heavy lifts, but once those large adjustments are made, as I said in January, we will have a clearer picture. My new word to everybody is no. We need this. No. We need that. No, I'm laughing at my principals because our principals, because they hear that. Well, you want this? Where are you going to get the money from? What are you going to give up? So it's a difficult word for me, but this is the situation that we're in, and we're holding closely to that. Right now, when you look at our budget, we're not overexpended at any point. And we want to keep it that way. We want to come out where we need to come out by the close of June.
I just want to say something in regards to, before you go further, I apologize, I don't mean to interrupt you. But T, I just want to clarify, when you're doing the out of district placements, the ODPs, and you're working on transportation, that those inputs that you're having to reconcile those lines, are you doing that, or do you have help with that?
I am doing that.
You're doing that,
Mhm.
and you're coming in on the weekends and everything, aren't you?
Yes, we work a lot right now. We're committed for now, but we need a plan.
Right. So
Yeah.
I understand that we've been getting some help for the town council for some particular projects, I guess you could say, or some particular areas in the budget. But this is a situation that's been ongoing, that we really need to put another staff person in there.
Yeah, we don't need
Because
help. We need position.
You need a position,
Yeah,
right?
we can't keep exhausting time training short-term help. It's not productive for us at all. We need the positions. We need to build somebody who can learn it, do it, and run with it and take it off our plates, because
Other things are
it's
not getting done because you're doing that instead.
yeah, there's a lot that's not getting done, and that's not my nature. So it's why we're working the 11-hour days and the weekends, because we're committed. We committed to stay on it. And Linda Lou and I, we believe in what we do, and we believe in Middletown, and we don't want us to fail. We don't want Middletown to fail in any area. And so we've committed to put the extra hours in while we're short. But it's been quite a while. We're starting to get a little tired. We miss our families. We miss our life. But we're not going to just 9 to 5 it and watch us sink. We're just not going to do that. But we need a plan. We can't talk about a plan anymore. We need to put a plan into place, or we're never going to see the light of day. And we don't want that. Nobody here wants that.
Right.
So we're doing what we can. We're getting a little tired.
Do we have the positions posted?
So no, we want to continue to work with our town. They have posted some positions that they need to fill that would support the school department. They have a deputy finance
Deputy
Director.
Finance, school
that-
side.
when you read that job description, it's been up on the web for a while. It says supporting the school department. So we need to have more in-depth conversations.
Mhm.
You know, if that position is going to be filled at the town level, what are we going to do to beef up
Yeah.
our staff in the business office? How is it going to complement what the town is doing?
Mhm.
So that really is our next step.
Or how is that position that's under the town going to truly support the schools? I think
Mhm.
that needs to be clearly defined.
Right.
Right.
Because if we're not gonna hire somebody and we're gonna be sharing somebody, that's fine.
Yeah, I
But
don't
we
think
need to
the
have it-
intent is that we wouldn't hire someone. So
okay,
we
so
need,
I
we need to
think
hire
what we're
someone.
trying to look at with that is, if the town wants to go forward with that, that would get, and they cover that position in their budget, that would give us the opportunity to get the staff that we need in our department and not go over budget, because we don't need to have a person here in the middle going, just sharing a paper to the town and back. So if we have a conversation with the town and we figure out what is the best thing we can do, then we know what we can do going forward. So if we did have that position in one sense, we could get 2 more people in our office and we could really be getting things done in a timely manner. If not, we have to be creative, because a director position will hit our budget,
mhm.
So we want to be thoughtful. We
Yeah.
want to be deliberate.
Yeah.
As we fill these positions. At the same time,
Mhm.
our business office is working 3 times,
Yeah.
whatever, the speed. So,
Well, thank you, T, and thank you, Linda Lou. I see you sitting over there behind the TV screen. Thank you, ladies, for your hard work. I know that on Saturday you were
Yeah.
here all day.
I would
on a
not, I
holiday
would not do
weekend.
it without her. We make one really good person together. So I couldn't do it without her. I wouldn't do it without her. So
even a
she-
lot
if
over
she
a
leaves, I
holiday
told her to
weekend.
hold the door open. I'd be following her out. So.
So
Well,
right
thank you,
now,
ladies.
right now, as I said, our budget shows that we're about 1.7 million positive variance. And the special ed region purchase has been in, so we're feel like we're moving along. We're not out of the woods at all. Again, every day. I was informed today that we will probably have 4 or 5 new high end special ed students coming into our district, moving from another community. And they might need to go to out of district placement. Now, out of district placement isn't just a decision I make or the special education director makes. It's a team decision that makes that decision. So it's a team of parents, teachers, the special ed director, the school psychologist, the school social worker. Yeah, a full team makes a decision.
Behavior specialist,
Behavior.
OT, PT,
Speech and language. It's not just a 1-person or a 2-person decision. It's a team decision. We don't have the authority. That's the law. We don't have the authority to say, oh, yes, I'm sending Teresa to an out of district placement. You need a team.
I probably need that anyway, so.
So,
So should that happen and they need out of district placement and that it's not in the budget,
yep, we,
where are
It's a-
we?
It's a town discussion.
it is
Yeah.
exactly. And
It's
we're
a-
going to bring that.
And that's where you start drawing from Peter to pay Paul because you have to cover that student by law, and no matter what it costs.
Mhm.
It's not
And
an
that's,
option.
and that's where I can't use the word no,
Mhm.
because that is law,
Mhm.
when a student comes in.
Or when a student needs something that we are required to purchase to support that student. Recently, we had a fairly large expenditure that was unexpected to take care of a room in one of the buildings
Hmm.
to completely support the student, and that was a very costly endeavor that was not in the budget. Never saw that coming, but it was a necessity and it had to be done immediately. So those are the kinds of expenditures that are, you can't plan ahead, you can't wait 3 months to do it. It's an immediate.
That's why we only have our lights on every other day now.
So, but yeah, so that, okay, well, thank you
So
for.
are there any
uh,
questions about the financial? We will have a more in-depth in January, where you're going to see the financials and the adjustments we made. You're going to approve, we're going to discuss, hopefully approve the adjustments that we make, so we can go to the town council for their blessing. So, thank you. Next is our facilities. Ho?
Yes, so we're still tying up the $500,000 security grant that we're getting from the state. We're finishing up on the camera system bid that we have out. We did show the cameras to the system to the principals. They seem to enjoy it. In addition to that, we're doing just got the estimate in for new walkie-talkies for all the schools. And working on setting up visitor parking spaces with new signs. In addition to that, we're working on switching over all the heating systems from air conditioning to heating. I appreciate everybody's patience. We've had some very cold classrooms and some very hot offices lately, but we seem to be working all the kinks out of that. Sometimes these systems, when they sit dormant for 6-7 months, not being used, you turn them on and they don't respond like you want them to. So then seems to be get a good hand on that lately. So in terms of personnel, I did have 4 second shift custodial positions. We have filled one of them at Gaudet. We have 3 candidates that are in various levels of hiring right now. So hopefully we'll pick up 1 or 2 more people to get into those positions. And under safety, we currently doing a school crossing light survey. Some of the lights are very old and they're not functioning properly. So I'm gonna be working with the town to determine repair replacement on those items so we can get those all working efficiently. Well, I have.
And just the building committee met last night, and we looked at a number of options. Do you want to?
Sure. we met last night and we looked at 6 options of possibilities of us moving forward. We decided to reject a few at first, and then we rejected a few more, and we settled in on an option A that we were going to pursue with the architects. And we left the meeting with an option A, which was closest to our original plan prior to the regionalization vote, to achieve that same sort of layout, but in a 2-step process instead of 1. And we left that meeting with Sean Brown, going to look at the financials and the bond information, and we were going to regroup on the 14th of December.
And the building committee will come to the school committee with their recommendation. It's a very intense, good group. We're going to be busy.
What time is the
Hopefully.
meeting on the 14th?
This was at 3, but they're typically at 5.
Okay.
So I'm
think
thinking
we-
it's 5 o'clock.
I think we had kind of agreed on 5. I don't know.
We bounce around.
I
a
wait
little.
up to the 12th or the
Okay.
13th before
We'll get that
I,
information out.
before I check the time.
Yesterday's meeting was a special meeting, so it was 3.
Oh, that's, yeah. And it was nice. More and more people are, showing up for it, which is kind of nice to have people come to it.
At 3 o'clock, that's good.
Yeah, it was good.
Excellent, thank you.
And next is our IT report.
Well, good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the school committee. Come before you this evening to share my status report with you all. First and foremost, I would love to welcome our newly elected school committee members. Congratulations on your appointment. We, along with all of us in IT, very much look forward to working with everybody on the committee. If you have any questions prior to a meeting or questions in general, or would just like to learn more about how we do business at IT, you're more than welcome to always meet with me personally, call me or email me. Emailing me is the best way to reach me, but I'm always happy to welcome you to our offices for an in-person meeting. Just know that our door is always open to welcome you with any needs or concerns that you all may have. We would like to update our school committee page on our website with a group photo at the conclusion of this meeting, just to kind of keep our website current and up to date with our new committee panel. And also, we would love an opportunity for the public to learn more about our school committee members. So in the coming weeks, I'll be sending out a brief survey to you all, just so that we can draft up a short bio for all of you, just so that the public can get to know you a little bit more. So again, the IT office, as well as myself, very excited to be having the opportunity to work with you all this year. The IT team has been working very diligently with the facilities department to install up to 30 interactive whiteboards throughout the district, all made possible by grant funding. These interactive whiteboards are 65-inch 4K multi-touchscreen displays. These displays will allow teachers to wirelessly connect their computers to display content, annotate over the screen, and take digital notes on the board with interactive educational manipulatives. Our plan is to install these boards over the December break, and we look forward to exploring additional grant opportunities to fund additional interactive whiteboards in the future. We're undergoing a review of our staff technology policies to ensure that the district is properly protected from instances where staff devices may be lost, stolen, or damaged. Last year, we reviewed and rewritten the 3 technology policies as it relates to student use, which have proven to be very helpful to our district operations. We hope to bring forward these updated policies to the school committee for final approval later this year. And just a side note, the IT department, as well as myself, the superintendent, and Attorney Scungio's office work very closely together in revising these policies. We're in the process of revising our job descriptions, our policies. We have a lot more work to go, but we have also accomplished a lot. It's going to be a pretty lengthy process. A lot of the policies that are currently in place are in some dire need of some improvement. So we are excited to bring those improvements to better protect the district moving forward. The copiers in our district are in dire need of replacement, as I'm sure everybody can agree. All copy machines in our district are very old and have served the district well beyond their useful life. It is a priority of us as the IT department to actively working on finding a proper solution by working with a variety of vendors to get the best possible replacement solution for the best possible price. We hope to select a vendor and move forward with this much needed project very soon, and more information will be forthcoming when it's ready. For those of you who don't know, I also oversee and manage the registration and enrollment office here at Oliphant. And so the IT and registration teams both are very busy with a very wide range of projects, ongoing active projects as we speak. All of these projects are ongoing and being coordinated simultaneously by both departments. This is including but not limited to working with our facilities team on a new security camera system, working with our assistant superintendent on redesigning K-8 report cards, implementing or finishing up the implementation on our new MTSS software, Branching Minds, revising various policies, implementing a new visitor management system, rewriting registration procedures, rebuilding our special programs online platform, installing interactive whiteboards, as well as collaborating with the business office on a more efficient new hire process and an internal budget process as well. That is my status report for the month of December. If the committee has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them at this time.
On the copiers, are you looking at purchase and lease options?
We all consider both. We are leaning towards a lease option.
Right,
Any other questions?
thank you.
Great. Thank you all. Look forward to working with
Yes.
you.
That's it. Okay, I need a motion to receive the superintendent reports.
I move that the, school committee receive the superintendent reports.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Okay, reports on officers and committees. You already talked about the building committee. Any other, this is where, just so you know, in this particular section, any subcommittee meetings that you attend, any outside conferences, anything like that, you have the ability to bring that back to the group as whatever you've done in the past month, since the last meeting. I just want to say that I want to acknowledge Mr. Arnold is here. I know we did a little presentation at the town council meeting the other day on Monday, but I just want to say, Doug Arnold, thank you for your time and commitment for 8 years serving on this Middletown School Committee, sitting next to me. It was an absolute pleasure working with you. I'm sure I can speak for the rest of the team that has worked with you all these years. Thank you for your time, your dedication, your commitment to the children of Middletown, not just as a school committee member, but going way back into your teaching years at Gaudet as a math teacher and really educating our students and always putting them first, as a softball coach, and all the things that you've done for the children of this community. Thank you very much for your time and efforts. We will miss you, Doug. And I want to acknowledge Lee Fenton. I know she is not here tonight, and unfortunately she missed the other night. She was unavailable. But I do want to acknowledge Lee served 24 years on this school committee and dedicated her many, many, many years to the well-being and success of our students. She was an integral part of starting our robotics program. Still was a teacher with the robotics and really worked hard for our STEM programs, our STEAM programs, whatever initials we want to use. She was very big on working with our community partners to develop and improve and increase programs for career pathways. And the other really big thing is that Lee was very involved with the Rhode Island Association of School Committee with RIASC. And that was something that was really important for our community, being down here in the small island of Aquidneck Island. She was involved with our legislators. She was involved with all the state, a representation from all of the school districts in the state on a regular basis. So it was great to have another person involved upstate like that, bringing back things to our community, as small as we are. She had a voice, so she brought our needs and what was important for Middletown up to the state level, and really worked hard with our legislators and our reps. And I just want to commend her and compliment her. I've been on for 20 years, and it was a true pleasure working with Lee for all these years. She's an incredible woman, totally dedicated to children, and I just feel it's important to recognize that long-term commitment that she provided us. And Doug, thank you again. So thank you to Lee, even though she's not here. And last but not least, but Mary Topa. Oh, Mary.
That's right.
Mary has committed 34 years, 35 years 35 years to Middletown Public Schools. Mary has been in an incredibly important position, working really hard as the superintendent's administrative assistant, has kept all of us in line and definitely me for all these years. And I
Not to mention me.
yeah. Mary, your job has been amazing. You have really worked hard and kept things in order. You're a very organized person, and that is what is a big part of making a school district successful. Without people like you running the show and keeping things in order, the whole world can fall apart. And I know that administrator assistants don't always get that recognition, but it is a really important role in the success of the whole district as a whole. And that goes to any business organization. And essentially, Middletown Public Schools is a business. We are the largest business in the community, so it's a big district to run. And I want to say thank you from me personally and on behalf of the school committee. Thank you for your hard work. I will miss all your emails and phone calls, reminders. Teresa, I need a signature.
450 school committee. It's almost disturbing.
Say that, 450 school committee
The
meetings?
math, yeah.
Oh my goodness, Mary, you're amazing. Thank you, Ben. Rosemary, I don't know if you want to say anything.
No. No.
Don't cry.
You did it.
You did it. Oh, Mary, I have to come give you a hug.
And this gift.
Yes, I know. I'm coming around. Come on, Mary, get up.
I'm not gonna make it.
Can't take notes on this.
She's not gonna talk to me tomorrow.
We'll miss you.
Thank you, Mary.
But at the same time, I want to welcome Kiki.
Absolutely. Let's move it over to
Um,
Kiki.
Kiki, please stand up because you can be seen on the camera. What was I
Yeah.
saying? This is Kiki Philman. And I want to welcome you. She is going to be the new assistant, the administrator's assistant, and she's going to be taking Mary's place. And we want to welcome you, and we're happy to see you here at your first meeting.
Hopefully we didn't scare you away.
I know.
Yeah,
Well, we welcome you. Thank you very much. We look forward to working with you.
Teresa, can I add that Mary's been very helpful in responding public telephone. Very generous with her time and getting the right information. And that's important, that liaison that the public has with you via Mary or via you. Except that we were locked out tonight for her.
I know, we were in executive session and it was just difficult to go up the stairs. So that is why we, unfortunately, we stayed down here this time. I'm sorry. We'll do better for winter time, I promise. I know it was a little chilly tonight, so my apologies. But thank you for your patience and thank you for those remarks. Mary, we will miss you. Thank you. Okay, anything else? All right, well, I just want to say thank you, everybody. I want to wish everybody a very happy holiday. We will. Yeah, we did.
Yeah,
Yes.
okay.
We will not be back at an official school committee meeting until January. So I wish you all happy holidays and a very happy new year, and everybody be healthy and safe. Thank you very much. And I need a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Have a good night.
Yeah.